You're listening to Jimmy Falcon and Grim Lena from the gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling on the Cloverleaf Radio Network.
So what was it like for you to teaming up with Andre in your last match after you guys had those hard-fought battles up in Canada?
I'd sooner be with him than against him. When I was a tag match with him, we were pretty invincible. A lot of people just don't understand how big and how strong Andre was. A lot of them kind of looked at him as being some type of a throwback in nature or so forth, but he was a very compassionate, caring, and you never really knew how strong he was until you had a round or two with him. Yeah, he was just a great man.
What do you guys both see in wrestling, today or in, the past 10 years that has changed a lot from when you both started?
I don't really watch it anymore. I mean, I'm pretty much, me and my son, and I know Dad, we've talked about it, but I really don't watch, the sport of wrestling anymore because it's not like it used to be. I mean, it's too hokey. It's too backyard wrestling for me, but I'm really into the MMA and UFC stuff that's more realistic.
I really haven't, since I've retired, I guess, because I've been in the business for so long, and finally after I retired, I really haven't watched it, unless Scott would call me and tell me some of the old stuff that they'd be showing, and I would check that out. But actually, I really haven't seen any of the new stuff, and it really doesn't interest me. I'd flip stations, I'd see it, and it's just completely different from the way it was when I was in a business.
Now, I do remember something that kind of went, started as a work and kind of escalated into a shoot, and that was your little thing that happened with you and Daniel Puder. What kind of really happened in the whole thing that happened with you guys?
Okay, what it was supposed to be was just a wrestling competition. At the time, my neck was broken. I couldn't even do 5 push-ups. And Vince McMahon asked me he wanted me to go through all 8 talent and wrestle all of them. And physically, I just couldn't do it at the time. And Daniel Puder just kept stalling and stalling and stalling and stalling. He kept backing up to the ropes. And finally, when I got him in a position where I could take him down, he got an arm lock on me. And through his inexperience, he actually pinned himself. He didn't have a good arm lock on me, but it wasn't about MMA. It was about wrestling. So I actually got up after the match, and I said, "Do you realize you pinned yourself?" I said, "This isn't an MMA competition. This was wrestling." And he couldn't understand that. I mean, if I ever fought Daniel Puder in a real fight, I know I wouldn't have a problem with him. And for the last, I don't know how many years, he's been living off my name with T-shirts and everything else. And, I think he's an average fighter. I don't think he's ever going to really excel. But, I'm not going to put him down too much, but I'm going to tell you that that was not supposed to happen. And I should not have been put in that position at time because I had 4 broken vertebrae in my neck, and I couldn't even do 5 push-ups. And I'm not sure why Vince McMahon put me in that position, but he wanted me to go through all 8 talent. I went through 2, the first guy and then Daniel Puder, and when I took him down to his back, he had a good arm lock on me, and I think after about 30 seconds, he probably could have made me submit, but he actually pinned himself because it was a wrestling competition, not an MMA competition. So, I even, Dana White even flew me out to sign with UFC, and he told me that the only thing he wanted me to do is fight Daniel Puder. And I thought, wow, that's pretty easy for me. I could kick his butt, not worry about it, and get paid a lot of money. But Dana White told me I could not wrestle ever again. And I just signed a deal with TNA. So I felt the obligation to stay with TNA. And Dana White respected that, and I respect Dana White because I know that you can't do pro wrestling and MMA at the same time, especially in the UFC. And so I backed out of UFC, and I went with TNA, and I stuck with that. But, it was very appetizing because him telling me that the only thing I had to do is fight Daniel Puder, to me, I knew that I could whoop his butt. It wouldn't take me long to whoop his butt. With the experience I had, I was training MMA. After that, I was training full-time and wrestling at the same time, which really got me really tired because when I was home 4 days a week, I was training MMA, and then I was wrestling 3 days a week. And it just got to be too much, and I realized that I can't do both. Dana White doesn't want me to do both, and I respect that from Dana White. So I just decided, Dana, now's not the time. I'm going to stick with TNA, and I'm not going to go with MMA right now with the UFC. But that was Dana White's first proposal with me. We've had 2 proposals. The second was to be on Real Fighter with Kimbo Slice. And that's because of some personal problems I had with TNA, and I felt like leaving. And Dana White offered me a really great, incredible, significant contract, and I decided not to go with UFC again because, I felt an obligation to Dixie Carter, and, I decided that, my personal issues really didn't matter. I was better off with my wife, my ex-wife Karen, and everything that happened. I was better off being by myself, and I just knew it was the right thing to stick with TNA because they have been so good to me, and they really cater to me. And even in WWE, Vince McMahon was great to me, but I've never had any person in the world treat me so good than Dixie Carter. So with that being said, I knew that Dixie Carter was the person I wanted to work for.
But what is your opinion on Caitlyn, the girl that replaced you on NXT?
Yeah, I have been watching it. And Caitlyn, I know her personally. She's a great girl. She has a fun personality. Her personality is just showcasing on that show is definitely what she's all about. And I think it's great. I think all of those girls definitely take advantage and put their talent and their uniqueness out there on display. NXT is designed for rookies to display and showcase their potential. They're doing a great job. They're doing everything that WWE is asking of them, and I can't think of anything else to say other than they're doing great. There's nothing else to say.